Okay. Okay, here we go. Hey, welcome everybody. Hi. Hope you're all doing fine. Brown rice, you made it in time today. That's awesome. Ah, there's no daylight saving. Right, cool. That means you can always make it on time now. That is perfect. Hi, Fire, Mr. AK, Darksoon. Welcome. I think today we already got the Q&A section behind us, so we can actually work on the game some more, I hope. I mean, not that I have anything against Q&A, but I think most questions should probably be covered by now, so we can move on. Yesterday somebody suggested a crazy bartender throwing stuff at you. I think that is a fabulous idea. It will probably look pretty crappy, but okay, in this glitchy section of the game, that's probably fine. Maybe we should also start rounding this out a little bit. For example, making this level glitch to the next one automatically after a while, so we can sort of start getting getting a feel for the pacing of all of this. At the moment, I'm not really sure how this will feel when it's done, because pacing is still not very good. You get stuck here for a little too long. Oh, I somehow made it to the bottom. This is the level we made yesterday. The crazy disco level with glitching enemies that are quite tough to avoid, but it's definitely possible to avoid them, and you can just slip through here. Very, very possible this is. No, I just went back to the beginning again. Okay! Hey! How did I do the background? Which background do you mean? What exactly do you mean? Do you mean that these stripes in the background, or do you mean those disco lights? Because those are just random spotlights placed in the level that rotate towards you if you're nearby. Not really a lot of black magic to that. Okay, what do you think? Should we get started with rounding out the levels we have, trying to get a feel for the pacing, or should we start with the crazy bartender throwing stuff at you? Oh, how did I do the sprites? I just drew them in Game Maker, which is very simple. See, most of the sprites just look like this. There's not really anything special to them. As I've said, the game mostly looks good due to the post-processing. I've shown it yesterday, but I can show it really quick again if you're interested. What happens when we turn off the post-processing? See, this is how the level looks without post-processing, and at this point it's really not that hard to... like, the sprites don't look that special anymore. It's pretty easy to imagine that you can just draw this in pretty much any pixel art program you want. You know, this glowy look looks sweet. This way it looks a lot more high quality than it actually is. Okay. I think I'll just put a little timer object thingy in those first two rooms so it automatically glitches to the next levels. Was Islanders made by Game Maker in Game Maker Studio 2 as well? No, Islanders was made in Unity. 1 vote for Bartender. Okay, that's the only vote I see so far, so let's start with that, I guess. Yeah, brown rice answered that question already for me. Was made with Unity. Very nice. Okay. I mean, where do we get a bartender from? And the question is, how crazy can we make that bartender look? And how crappy can I make it? How can I get away with just making a weird drawing here? Let's see. Spur bartender. How big do we want it to be? 200, 400, I'm not sure. I'll make this a bit of a wiggly line as well, just for the funsies. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, maybe 4 frames is enough for now. Let's see if we can make something that works. Usually in Will You Snail, everything consists of these weird blocks here. So let's see if we can make a block bartender. Now it looks like a robot bartender. Okay, but whatever. And then maybe he has a glass here. Or should it be a cocktail glass? I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe that's better. Okay. Interesting. I have never made a sprite like this before for Will You Snail. And as I've said, it looks a little stupid now, but obviously the post-processing magic will make it look absolutely fabulous once we have this in-game. And we're just going for a nice WTF moment with this, I guess. I think I'll even color the bartender in here. Because why the hell not? Probably want more than one color for this. Yeah, see, that's what you get from requesting a bartender. Now you can watch me drawing this crap for a while. Maybe I can answer some questions in the meantime. 5,000 subs incoming, Zoe Toby. Hey, yeah. I mean, it's absolutely crazy how quickly the channel is growing at the moment. Like before I uploaded that devlog, it was something like 10 subscribers a day. At the moment, it's something like 200 subscribers a day. So that's absolutely crazy. It freaks me out a little bit. Not quite sure why that is. Was it really just that video, or did I just do I have more credibility now that I've published a game? I think that might be a factor as well. I have really no idea. Which color should the glass have? Blue, maybe? Oh, I think the bartender should have an eye patch. I'm not exactly sure why, but I think we need that. It's just a feeling. Very nice. Now the iPad should probably be pretty dark. Then maybe we can make the other eye a bit more colorful. Yeah, now it looks like a party bartender. I guess the bartender will appear in the disco in the glitchy disco section, right? So I guess we'll put him in there. I'll just get rid of these for now. And before we animate that guy, we should check out how he looks in game. So let's duplicate the glitchy disco level. Duplicate. And let's call this devil bartender. Hey, welcome. This is crazy. How many people have in chat? What the hell? This is Game Maker Studio 2, yes. A cool pirate bartender, exactly. Oh, I made a noise that made your ears bleed. Oh, geez, sorry. I'm kind of, my microphone is just standing right next to me. Sometimes I bump into that. And also sometimes I make weird noises like that happens. Beep, 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 beep. I'm sorry. I guess someone's getting banned today. Who's that? Is it me? The Island is such a nice game, and you use Game Maker to learn coding. Yeah, thanks for the compliment. And Game Maker is probably a pretty nice program to learn coding. It's how I learned coding as well. However, I really gotta go check out Godot because everybody's saying it's so great and it's free and everything. Okay, let's clean up a little bit here. Now I can see what I'm doing. Walls, let's just remove everything, whatever. We wanna build a new level anyway. No enemies, no. And then yeah, I guess maybe we can drop the player in from the top again. As players will probably leave at the bottom in the last level. That just feels a little more fluent, the transition, I guess. Walls. I'm not sure I want to worry about the layout of this too much yet. Let's just implement our bartender, which I have no idea so far what it will do. But I mean, that's great. We can come up with ideas together. Pretty much the main purpose is just to be weird and crazy. Oh yeah, I like that. I should probably scale around like this as well. Let's put it in the background though. Yeah, probably the minigame layer is a good layer to put it on. And I mean, we could either put him in the corner somewhere here and put a little window around it or something to make it feel more like a bar. Or you could also just put it in the background like this. Which could have a great effect as well. Let's check it out. Islander sales doing well? Yes. Islander sales doing very well. Unfortunately, I can't share the exact numbers, but as I've said, it's very easy to find out by making a low entry on the high score, seeing what place you are, or just by having a look at Steam Spy, which usually has more or less accurate numbers as well. That is not the level I wanted to test. Yeah, what the hell? Guess we need to make all of the colors a little less bright. But in general, this feels like it will work once this is animated. At the moment, it feels a little static. Before I animate it, let's try to get the colors right, because I don't want to change the colors after that. Bum 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 bum. Basically just gotta make everything a little darker, I guess. Let's see if those colors work with post-processing. That looks creepy. Yeah, exactly, the creepy bartender in the background. Pirate bartender. Oh, that is still way too bright. What the hell? Don't really like the color of the arms. Why is it so orange? Maybe the entire body should have the same color. Usually using fewer colors makes it easier to pick the right colors. And this area somehow was still super duper bright as well. Come on now. This should work. Okay, I think that works. Oh no, why did I fall down? No! Perhaps just the liquid in this glass could be a little darker, and the red in here could pop a little more. And that cherry. You might want to change your description. It says wishlist Islanders. Oops. Yeah, obviously you're supposed to buy it. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay. Okay, nice. So next up I think we'll animate this, and then we'll come up with a couple of fun attacks for the bartender and make it basically a little pre-boss fight, I guess. Because that's obviously what we're working up towards here. Okay, should we start with the 2-frame animation and see if that maybe is already enough? It's probably not. Probably need at least 4 frames or something. Boo. I want him to shake this drink around a little bit. Can I not add something to the selection? Please let me add something to the selection. Oh, maybe I should do this in Photoshop. Oh, it seems to work somehow. Oh yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah, as I thought, we probably need another frame in between. Plus maybe the arm should move back a bit as well on this side. Yeah, that feels more logical. Do you think that is enough, or should we add more frames in between? Antique Gear Games, hello, and gotta go. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. He's in a tub. Yeah, that's true. Looks like it. Brown Rice, you've gotta go as well. Well, good night. Thanks for stopping by. You hope that he throws a bottle full of particles. Ah. Maybe can have particles falling out of the drink here that he's shaking, you mean, and you need to dodge those particles. More frames, yeah, okay, I agree. And then obviously we'll have to animate his face as well a little bit. This is very rudimentary animation, I know. But I think it will look nice and crazy. No, that was the wrong key. No, that was the wrong key. Oh yeah, that was the right key. Is that about in between? Yes, that seems about right. Meaning in this frame, the cherry can be in the middle. Let's try to... oh no. Continue that line here. More frames. D, that's a cool username. Very catchy. I can remember that, I think. In the second frame, there's a gap in the table. Well, not anymore. I think we fixed that. Ah, right, the arm still needs to move back in this one. And then in theory, if we make that bounce back and forth by adding this frame again here. Oh yeah, nice. I have an idea to make that feel a bit more fluent maybe. What if in this frame we make the cherry thingy go to this side? And then in this frame we make it go to this side. Oh yeah, see, now it feels a little more like it's spinning. Very nice. Now, how do we animate this guy? I'm not even sure we should fill in all of the gaps. Maybe he should look a little bit glitchy. Maybe we can have a glitchy bartender. Okay, I mean, that looks weird. Okay, maybe he won't have a glitch here. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we can also make the pupil bounce up and down in his eyes. Somewhat like this. Nice. Meow, meow. Perfect. Now I think it's also time to animate the entire head a little bit. Can we somehow select the entire head? Yes, we can. Very curious to see how that looks in game. Very, very curious. Okay, nice. I feel like now that everything's moving, it just looks a little weird if the rest of his body isn't moving, right? So what do we do about that? Jesus. 30 people watching me creating a stupid pixel art bartender. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, I haven't used Godot. make his skirt move. Which skirt? I don't think he has a skirt. The dark guy, hello, welcome. Is this concept art? I'm afraid no. As you can see, this is how it will look in game. Very nice. This is basically just the crazy end section of the game where the entire game starts breaking down. Nice, 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 nice. I like that. Yeah, maybe we should add a bit of movement to his body. Maybe we should have done that earlier now. It feels like that's probably gonna be a bit tricky. That would be easier if we had all of that on separate Photoshop layers. Should have done that. Thought it's quicker to do it in Game Maker, but no. Should definitely have done that in Photoshop. Okay, guess maybe we'll keep it like this for now then. Now we have a bit of additional movement going on here. Not really sure what he's doing with that hand. Maybe wiping the table, I don't know. Okay, good enough. Let's worry about the gameplay next. And the level layout. I mean, this will probably be the dangerous part, this glass. So maybe the player should drop in at a different position. Over here, where you're a little more safe. Usually that's not something you can do in game development, just go crazy like this. It's very nice. I've wanted to make a game like this for a long time. Where I can do whatever I want. Maybe we can have a couple of platforms here and there so you can maneuver around a little bit. And then perhaps we should add a couple of disco lights as well, as this is a disco chapter. Where are our beautiful disco lights? Oh no, those are sprites. Objects, decoration. And we'll take the broken flickering disco lights, of course. Oh nice, we can even break the disco lights as well if we do it like this. Nice, nice, nice. I mean, now the disco lights are behind the bartender, which looks broken, but I guess broken is what we're going for, so okay. Anyone know what his attack's gonna be? I mean, I feel like he should spill something from his glass. Either cherries or water drops or something. Oh, and we still have these laser beams in here. Should probably get rid of those. Maybe we shouldn't give him that bright of an outline. A little hard to see the snail like this. Okay. I guess should we just make something spill from his glass or something? Can yell alcohol. And the sound wave will do damage. Yeah, maybe he can do that as well. Push that little smiley icon. What do you mean? You were here yesterday. Can you remember? No, I'm sorry. Cartoon Factory. Have I read your name before? I'll try to remember you this time. Cartoon Factory, Cartoon Factory, Cartoon Factory. Unfortunately, I can probably not remember anybody. If D comes back tomorrow, I'll remember because his name is very memorable. His eye patch opens up and shoots a continuous laser beam. Yeah, that's not a bad idea either. I like the laser eyes. Something spilling from the glass. Let's just get started with some stuff spilling from the glass, and then maybe we can implement one more attack. I think we maybe shouldn't overdo it on this one because we don't want to stay in this level for too long anyway. It's just a broken glitch level. The player is supposed to move through relatively quickly, I guess. What do you think? Should we do alcohol drops or should we do cherries? I kinda wanna do cherries. I don't know why. I kinda imagine that would be funny. Mostly because it makes no sense that there would be so many cherries in there. Question is, can I duplicate that to another sprite? I don't need to duplicate to another sprite. I just delete everything here. Put that in here. And fill that out. Crop, crop, crop. Auto trim. Then we can put the pivot somewhere here. And I like to make the collider of the sprite a little smaller than the sprite. So there's a little bit of leeway for the player. Cherry. And from that we'll create object cherry. And we'll just make that fly into a random direction, which is very easy in GameMaker. We just type direction equals random 180, speed equals 5 plus random 10. And with that, we've already got the direction completely set up. Now we add some gravity by saying vertical speed plus equals 0.2. And then we rotate the cherry by saying image angle equals direction plus 90, minus 90. Well, just do trial and error. I'm too lazy to think about that. Oops, I gotta drink. Amazing draw, thank you. Make it a bomb. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, he could vomit over everything. Oh, now we're getting to the really good ideas. Make it a good boss. Well, this is... I know this looks like a boss. It's not really a boss. Just a very short mini boss. Or we could turn it into a boss. I'm not sure yet. Maybe we will. Baby. Yeah, so how do we figure out where to spawn the cherries? I guess I'll just create a new object for that. The cherry spawner. Cherry on layer, and that will be a lot of cherries. Or you can still reduce that in a sec. Yeah, about here is probably right. You have bought islanders lately and you think we've done a great job. Thank you. Thanks a lot for getting islanders. What did we do wrong? Non-existent object. Oh, does the layer come first? Oh, I got the order completely wrong. X, Y, layer, object. Oopsie doopsie. Oh, by the way, that is probably not how you write Jerry. That just came to my mind. I think you write it with CH, right? Well, too late. You didn't spot it either, admit it. Oh, yeah. The cherries are not rotated correctly. As I thought. However, that is already going in a good direction. I can already see that working out. AI. Let's get rid of those annoying laser beams. This level will already be hard enough without the laser beams. Plus 90 it is. So many. Yeah, maybe it's a little too many. I know. I can still reduce the amount. I mean, at this point you can't even see what they're supposed to be. But also it doesn't really matter whether you can see that or not. I mean, the problem with shooting something from his eyes is that's his eyes. Oh no, his eyes more or less staying at the same position, right? Okay, so that could work. Or we make him vomit. That could be a fun attack as well. That's sort of my two favorite suggestions so far. Open for more suggestions, of course. Okay, so let's do a couple fewer cherries. And from what I've seen so far, we also need to make them a little faster. Because they're not really covering the entire screen yet. When Jonas drinks, he confuses S and C. No, I do that all the time. My pronunciation is not very good. I mean, yeah, that seems somewhat fair, right? I don't really like that the cherries look so different from the one in the glass. Maybe we should go for liquid drops instead. Now let's try that. Oops. No! Didn't mean to change the pivot. No, come on, Game Maker, why can you not remember the color from one sprite to another? Okay, I guess we'll have to store it in here. Let's see if that looks any better. Those are very hard to see as well. Or are they? Not really sure. Although let's add a little bit of zoom to the level. Boom, 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 boom. Blue may not be ideal as it's the player color, yeah, I agree. Just wanted to make it the same color as whatever's in the glass, but I guess we can also adjust the color of whatever's in the glass. Red is probably a better color. Maybe that zoom is a bit too much, can't really see the bartender anymore. Maybe 95% zoom is enough. Or maybe we'll just move the bartender down a little bit. It's a Bloody Mary, yeah. Then I guess we should give the glass the same color. The colors still look a bit ugly at the moment in general. Oh, why can you not remember those colors? But I think it was this red here, if I'm not mistaken. Oops. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that is a good start. I do not really like this purple here anymore because it reminds me too much of missing material. Let's see if this purple is a little better maybe. And then we are ready to implement the next attack, which could either be vomiting or laser eyes or something completely different. Vote now. What do you think should we do? How did I learn to code? I've made a video about that already, but I think the short answer is I just made a lot of games. I coded a lot. Learning by doing. Because GameMaker has some very simple drag and drop functions that you can use to code. But they're pretty much the equivalent of other code lines. I started coding with drag and drop and then over time I started learning more and more code equivalents of the drag and drop functions, and then at some point it just wasn't efficient anymore to use drag and drop, so I switched to coding. That's already a long time ago. Okay, nice. Now maybe these things should kill you so we can tell how difficult this actually is. And the collider needs to be changed to rectangle with rotation, otherwise the colliders will be super duper broken. Player. And when that player, I guess we can just collate any, duplicate any of these things. Duplicate, and when we collide with the cherry that is not a cherry anymore and which is also misspelled, then you'll die. Okay. How long have you spent coding? I'm 15 and I'm interested in Java, but have only learned Python so far. Do you think it's too late for me to get into it? Are you kidding? You're 15. You can learn a new coding language within 1 month. Especially if you already know one. It's definitely not too late. So if you want to learn it, then go ahead and learn it. Okay. Now that these drops actually kill us, it's suddenly a lot harder than before. Who would have thought? But also these drops should disappear when the level resets. A lot of stupid deaths where you just get spawned into a flying drop. And that's just one line here with object Jerry. By Jerry. Do instance destroy. Okay. Every 10 seconds the glass could drop many cherries and then reduce. Ah. You mean the amount of liquid he has in his glass is basically his HP? I like that idea. That's a good idea. How about we call the boss Jerry? Jerry the bartender. The pirate bartender. Like something about the colors in this level feels super duper wrong. It's not aesthetically pleasing. I mean, if you do it on the side, then obviously it takes a little longer to learn a new coding language, of course, but at the age of 15 you have nothing to worry about. It's not too late to learn another language. Definitely not. Now one thing that's a little dumb is that if I want to change this glass here it will be even harder to change the colors later on. So maybe I'll just separate the glass from the rest of Jerry. And this way it will be a lot easier to empty that glass over time. Because I really like that idea. So yeah, easy peasy. We'll remove the glass here, and then in the other one we'll remove everything but the glass. Having a stream open is really nice. It's basically just a free idea generator that constantly fires ideas at you. Especially when a couple more people are watching. It's pretty nice, the amount of ideas you have. Yeah. Huh. And I guess we'll cut it off here. See, now we can have a glass full. Or let's just number them, I guess. Number 2 will be a little bit less filled. Guess we'll cut it off here. Okay. 2 pixels further down than the cherry. That's a pretty neat idea for an integrated HP bar. Oh, wait a second. First of all, it does not stay at a constant level. For whatever reason. And secondly, there's a flying cherry in there now. No! No, I don't want to move the cherry, no! Oh. Okay, we'll just have a flying cherry there. I can't get bothered. Can't be bothered. Nobody will notice. Plus, it's a glitchy level anyway, so it's just we can say it's just a physics glitch. And then after a while, pretty much almost the entire glass will be empty. Bartender, oh yeah, doesn't have any code whatsoever so far. So how much HP does he have? Basically, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll draw the glass on top, because that is separate now. Spur, bartender, no. I'll draw this variable here. Very nice. And then we'll just pick the correct sprite, depending on the HP value. I guess then we'll set the alarm to 300, so after 5 seconds he will lose a life, HP minus minus. And with object Jerry spawner do event user 0. Oh, that's when he'll spawn an extra explosion of, oh, it's not cherries anymore, it's drops. And now we're already almost ready to test this out. The only thing that's still missing is resetting this when the level restarts. But that is a very easy fix as well. Room reset with object bartender do ibabu. And HP equal to 4. Can you make a countdown to the explosion? Like a timer bomb? Yeah, I guess we could do that. What would be the purpose of that? Hello. Desmond Mies. Why do you all have so difficult names? I'm sorry if I don't pronounce them correctly. Don't learn a language which you will never use. Yeah, obviously. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Okay. I guess there was a bit of an extra burst and the glass emptied out a bit. But firstly, the burst isn't really noticeable. Secondly, what's a little annoying at the moment is that clearly the best strategy is to stay on the right hand side here, because there are not as many drops. So perhaps we can balance that out a little bit by adding additional obstacles on the right. Because generally it's more fun if you have to use the entire space and not just one corner of the level. Maybe let's also reduce the general spawn count a little bit to make the bursts more visible. And then we can think about additional attacks, laser eyes. Why do you spawn with nearly 700 deaths? That's because the game already has a save load function, and the death counter is saved as well. Well, obviously now it keeps going. But in general, this is about how long I want this boss to be. I think that's pretty fitting. See, first, it's a very short boss. Short, but challenging, hopefully. And now the glass already looks empty, so maybe it should already be over, or we do one more burst. I'm not sure. Okay, let's do another glass that is entirely empty. And make sure the drop spawns stop once it's empty. And then the cherry spawner will ask if object bartender.hp is larger than 0, and only then will we spawn new cherries. Cherries. Or jerrys. How long have you been working on Will You Snail? 4 months, 5 months. I've started the project quite a while ago, but I didn't really work on it a lot. So that makes the question a little tough to answer. First prototype already existed 1 year ago, but I didn't really touch the game a lot back then. Now I don't really touch the game a lot anymore either, because I'm busy with Islanders fixes for the most part. I want to keep going, I want to keep making a bit of progress here and there. And I mean, a lot of the content of this game is already complete anyway, so would be a shame not to finish it. We've got to keep going. The pressure is on though. Now that Islanders has been that successful, the pressure is definitely on. Jeesh, still quite hard. Didn't I just reduce the spawn rate? Usually my response to oh this feels hard is to make it even harder, and that it's pretty much exactly what we'll do in a sec. Give our bartender laser eyes. Oh, one thing that I just noticed is that we should definitely destroy these. Oopsie doopsie. If Y is large, if the Y position is larger than room height plus 80. Okay, laser eyes, laser eyes. I want laser eyes. Who wants laser eyes? Raise your arms. And I'll just copy something from the AI script here real quick, and that should make placing those lasers quite easy. Or maybe it's enough to just place them, I don't know. Dang it, how are those lasers called? Okay, I've got to copy that. Give me a sec. Lasers. Here we have the lasers. Laser. Okay, that's it. Now we just need to place that object at the correct position, and then we should have our first draft of the laser eyes. Do you raise all 5 arms? Why do you have 5 arms? Are you an alien? I knew it! What license of Game Maker Studio do you have? I'm not quite sure which licenses there are. I remember that I paid $200 for it, so I think I have the... I don't know how the version is called, but basically the full version, but without any of the additional export modules. Oh yeah. The lasers still have infinite length at the moment. We obviously don't want that. Let's see if we can find a way around that. The objects we spawn here are called Object AI Laser Warning. Here we go, and I think this is where the object is stretched out, right? Let's duplicate that. User 1. Good. That should solve it. Make the laser eyes the eye patch one. Okay, we can do that. Makes more sense, I agree. I mean, now we have the problem that the eye is not really, or the lasers are not really moving correctly with the eye. I guess we can resolve that issue by just going for the eye patch eye, as that one is quite a bit bigger. And then we can also just randomize the position a little bit. Minus 50 plus random 100. And then I guess the eye patch should open when shooting a laser, right? Let's see how we do that. I mean, how would this eye patch look when it's open? Geesh. Should it flip to the side like that? That would be a sensible solution, but I don't know if you get that. Yeah, that looks weird. Okay, no, I'm not happy with the animation in the eyes. That's not quite lasery enough. Maybe we'll just make it flicker or something. I don't know. Let's try it out. And then obviously we need to find some rules to when that happens. Laser eyes, laser eyes. And if laser eyes are larger than 0, sprite index will be set to up spur bartender open eye. Otherwise we'll set sprite index to sprite bartender normal. Nice. And now whenever a laser is fired here, laser eyes is set to 30, which means at the moment, as this happening so frequently, probably his eye patch will be open all of the time, but we can change that in a sec, so it happens more in intervals and not continuously all the time. Maybe you can animate the patch opening. Yeah, maybe. That would obviously make it a little more clear what's happening. Maybe we should also make sure the color of the laser stays a bit more consistent. Some of the colors are not really very visible. The colors in this level in general are just... Now you've gotta hide behind that all the time. Behind those blocks. You're even forced even more into that corner. Which is not exactly what I call fun gameplay. Just standing in one corner and hoping that nothing hits you. Let's make that happen in intervals. Attack minus minus, and will only spawn stuff if attack is larger than 0. Okay, now we won't have lasers all of the time, but only together with those bursts. Wait a sec. Is that eye patch not closing? No. No. Seems like it's not. Now it's open, and now it stays open forever. No. Okay. Let's just do 1 second. I mean, I reduced that variable, and we only spawn lasers if the variable is larger than that. Ah! We don't reduce that variable yet. That makes sense. Yeah, you're right. D, you paid attention. Take it. Okay. I have an idea to make this gameplay a bit more interesting. Let's create quite a bunch more lasers actually. But then we'll remove all of the hiding spots on this side of the map. And the only good hiding spot is behind this piece of wall here, which means you need to go to the other side. So now you need to go back and forth. Which will hopefully makes it a bit more interesting. I think it will. Because it makes you move a little more. Maybe we can allow the player to go down here as well, because I guess, yeah, you're protected here, but you're also very vulnerable from the drops. Or are you? Let's make sure this is very narrow down here. Maybe get rid of the cover on the right side. Hey, you are having exactly the same ideas, D. Our brains are synced. You're getting 300 subs every day. Wow, yeah, I'm pretty amazed by that as well. I have no idea what's happening. It's mostly one video that's getting all of these views. Well, I mean, now the best strategy is clearly to stay over here. Ha. I wonder what happens if we have no cover. Can we even dodge those lasers? No, I don't think so. That's too many. Or maybe down there is cover enough. Oh, we did it. He's out of... He emptied his drink. Awesome. Yeah, I think we need cover somewhere. But we need to make it so you can't just keep standing behind the cover all of the time. That is boring. There might be a solution for that, let's see. How about the only covers holes like that? Because I'm pretty sure in those kind of holes you cannot dodge the drops very well. That might be a fair trade-off, right? Protects you from the lasers. but not from the drops. Okay, let's try that out. Can you make a cover that moves? Yeah, I thought about that as well. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that will probably be a little tricky. But this should be a fine solution. These drops are really not all that dangerous, are they? I mean, there are obviously solutions to these problems. I feel like we're getting closer and closer to something that works. Well, if we have an underground tunnel system here. But there are also lasers in there. Disco laser. This is just a sprite. Object disco laser. Enabled and interval are the variables I'm looking for, because the interval should probably be a bit longer. And as that level is a bit bugged anyway, those lasers don't even need to go to the top. Let's just check if that works as intended. Islanders is very fun, thanks. I'm very happy you like the game. Papa Snacks. Also bought the game after watching my videos. That's very kind of you. Thank you, thank you. Something about the intervals seems a bit off. No, maybe this is not the correct solution. Just realized this brings new design problems again. But I have another idea how we could solve the movement problem and force the player not to stay in those holes forever. You could just add a couple of spikes. Couple of AI spikes. That would hopefully finally resolve the issue. Just need to pick the AI that spawns spikes every once in a while. Where is it? AI. Spikes. I hope that's not too many spikes. But as this is the end of the game, maybe too many spikes isn't too bad either. Have you ever tried shadow casting in GameMaker like Philophobia? Yeah, I've tried that a couple of years ago. It's already quite a while back. But I think the way I did it was probably not very performance efficient. There are a couple of cool lighting plugins for GameMaker though. For Will You Snail, I would try to find something that makes the game look nice without shadow casting probably. Firstly, I don't want to rip off Tim's game. Secondly, I'm not sure. I think shadow casting is not a good fit for this anyway. You've got to see what's going on. Okay, let's see if this is still possible with these spikes. It doesn't feel like it. If I were good at math, I would calculate some of these drops to fall exactly on top of you. No? If basically some of these drops would aim at you, then you couldn't hide in these holes either. But my math skills, unfortunately, are not good enough to make that happen. Geesh. Okay, this is quite difficult now. Nice, you can still hide in these holes. That worked. Ah, geesh, you don't have a lot of time. Also it's exhausting to look at. That's why I don't want the players to stay in these levels for a very long amount of time, because looking at all of these flashing lights is just a little exhausting. Probably as the next level we should do something that's a little easier on the eyes. Okay, a couple fewer spikes, please. Please, that's a little too many. Oh, we also have lots of spikes. Spikes and cats. Here, occasional spike. That sounds more like what I'm looking for. What program is this? This is GameMaker Studio 2. Hast, welcome. Hi, hi. Ah, you were asking for yourself because you're thinking about game ideas? I mean, shadow casting in GameMaker is definitely possible. However, I'm not sure if there's a super performance efficient solution. Come on. In the best case scenario, we would allow spikes from spawning while the AI lasers are active. Because dodging the lasers like that is quite fun, but if then there appears a spike in there at the exact same time, it doesn't really feel fair. Oh, that was lucky. Keep in mind that this is also the hardest difficulty. Let's see how this plays when we have a bit more reaction time for the spikes and for the lasers. Yeah, that's a different story altogether. Obviously, these drops here don't have any difficulty balancing yet. But I would definitely prefer it if the game would still not feel unfair at the higher difficulties. Oh, we're at 800 deaths already. Jeez. Also, one thing I'm thinking, maybe those two attacks should not happen at the same time, as they are both pretty strong. Let's try to offset them a little bit. Duplicate. And alarm 1. Here we'll do the laser eyes. Here we'll do the drops. And then we've also got to reset that when the level restarts. Dum 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 dum. Let's see if that feels any better. Hey, what do you play? This is Will You Snail, the game I'm making at the moment. crazy little platformer. Oh no, he can shoot into that hole. That's dumb. We should remove it then. It's not a good hiding place. Other than that, definitely feels a bit better with the longer reaction times. Not quite as unfair. What are you supposed to do in this game? Get through all of the levels and defeat the evil AI that is holding you hostage in the simulated world.
Hey, can you hear me? Jump to say yes. Very nice.
That's a little more at the beginning of the game.
Rage mode. I love rage mode. It makes people rage.
The AI is basically mocking you for all of your mistakes. And the main idea is that you're playing against the AI, so it's basically trying to predict your movement and spawning all of these traps here.
All right.
But there are a lot of different other crazy levels in here. Generally speaking, it gets crazier and crazier the later you are into the game. Here you get a gun to shoot enemies, which is quite fun as well.
I got you.
We have puzzle levels in here. We have the giant brain room, of course. And this is the first boss fight, which is an enemy that constantly splits up into more enemies, which still requires some polishing. Doesn't have any animations yet. A lot of the earlier levels definitely need a bit more balancing. Oh yeah, here's the disco chapter, which has some creative levels as well.
Got to try harder than this. This never gets old.
I think I skipped something interesting here. See, the disco levels sometimes have these button prompts that you need to hit. I think that's quite funny and annoying.
All was a desperate attempt.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a skill-based rage game with a little bit of puzzling here and there. I don't know, it's just a crazy game that I wanted to make. Boom. Spoiling you everything, by the way. Here we have the underwater chapter, which has racing levels where you have to race against that little squid here. Alright. That's one of the previous boss fights. That one looks a little better than the one we're working on right now. But that's okay. Game is not as broken here as later on. And then the final chapter of the game is basically this bubblegum section here.
Make humans great again. Absolutely desperate.
And most of the levels mostly come down to unfair stuff that kills you. But I don't just want this to be a frustrating game. I mean, if you wanna play this and just enjoy a couple of cool platformer levels, you can also play this on story mode which makes the difficulty pretty bearable for the most part. I usually prefer to play on Rage mode, which is also the intended way to play.
What a shame.
Do, do, do.
Did you do that
I think if you buy a game, you should, if possible, be able to play the way you want to play. And adding difficulty settings is really not a lot of effort. Will just require a bit of balancing in the end. Shoo! Rip. Oh, and that's my couple of my favorite levels here as well. That's the tower defense levels. Juicy, juicy. Where you have to stop enemies from reaching that center thingy there. Ah. And then here later on you can even choose which towers you want to place. Full-on tower defense game in here, basically. And in these levels it works pretty nice. These levels force you to move around quite a bit. Usually that's one of the main challenges in levels where there's no exit. How do you make sure the player has to move and has strategic options for movement? That's pretty much the thing we were struggling with in our boss fight that we just made as well. But in these tower defense levels we already found some pretty nice solutions for that. For example, these exploding bullets when you kill some of the enemies. And also the fact that obviously enemies are coming from different directions and you have to go back and forth between them to stop them on time. Oh, nice. That feels so nice when you get that level right the first time. Yeah. There's still quite a bit of polishing left to do, but as you can see, we already have quite a bit of content in here. And then the boss fight, this is the boss fight level, is also a tower defense level. When we place all of the towers here, the main boss of this chapter comes in here. And then this is basically the end section of the game after you've made it through the entire game, where you have to face off against the AI. And everything starts breaking down, the entire game starts crashing basically. Because you're about to bring the AI down, more or less. And the entire world is collapsing. And then we go through some representations here of all of the earlier chapters. This is a broken disco chapter, and then we'll have some broken underwater chapters as well. And of course, we have the bartender boss fight, which is where we left off. I hope I gave you a decent overview over Will You Snail. As I've said, a crazy little platformer. Yeah, I guess this is... You just need to get a little bit lucky in some levels. But in this level, the luck component might be a bit too high. So what I'm thinking is maybe this gets more bearable if we just reduce the amount of crap in the level. Like, let's give that a try, because in general I think we did a decent job with the level layout so far. Here AI occasional spike rare, let's go for that. And then just reduce the amount of drops and lasers and whatever we have. Jerry spawner. Yeah, let's reduce the base spawn rate of that to half. The burst spawns to 30 from 35. I guess half of the lasers will do as well. Let's see. This is a little more fair. I've come a long way since level 1. I mean, it's one thing I've noticed as well is that a lot of the later levels are a lot more fun than the earlier levels. This is why I'll definitely make a second pass and see if I can improve some of the earlier levels, make them a little more interesting, a little more fun. I feel like some of the earlier levels still feel a bit generic, and I don't want this to feel like a generic platformer. I think after seeing all of this you can tell that it's not, but some levels are. I mean, now this feels a little more reasonable in terms of difficulty. Now I can even dodge the lasers without hiding in one of those holes. I still don't really have an incentive to move around all that much, but definitely better than at the beginning. I feel like we need a little more space on the left to make that area more attractive. Oftentimes you can just solve these issues with level design. If we have more space here, then it's easier to dodge stuff, and you can dodge the incoming cocktail stuff earlier, and so on. Also, what we've got to check is that this area up here, we need to make sure that can't be abused. Let's check that. I've been working on a game for 2 years, 1.5. One and a half was just multiplayer. Oh, you tried to make a multiplayer game with Game Maker Studio? Did you make Islanders alone or with a group of people? Yeah, we were a team of 3. Did not make that alone. I can't make graphics that beautiful. As you can clearly tell by looking at this. I'm more of the gameplay dude. I think I'm pretty good at making fun gameplay, interesting gameplay. My art skills still need a bit of work, for sure. Yeah, see, now this area over here already feels a lot more attractive, to be honest. Ah, nice. I think this is pretty balanced now. On the right, you might have a little bit of an easier time dodging these red drops. On the left you have just a little more space and better hiding spots for the lasers. Oopsie doopsie, those lasers appeared really quickly on this difficulty setting. Nice, nice, nice! That was a skilled move. And so was this. Nice! I made it! Jeez, it's possible now! Yes! Woo! Nice. Any tips to come up with game ideas? Yes, I've made a video about that. Check that out, Final Code. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Coming Up with Game Ideas or something like that. Highly recommend you check that out. A white outline on the drops might be better, yes. Problem is the bartender in the background has a white outline as well, so that kind of makes the drops hard to see, I think. Maybe we can try it again. And if it doesn't work, then maybe we should just remove the white outline from the bartender and make that a different color. That's obviously an option as well. In general, the art of this level and also the art of a couple of other levels still need some work, for sure. We need a really thick white outline. Good, let's check again. If that looks any better. That Studios, hello, nice game, thank you. I'm making my pictures for YouTube now. You mean your thumbnails? Do you have a YouTube channel? Maybe I have even checked out your YouTube channel already. Sometimes I forget that. Oh yeah, the white outlines were a good idea. That looks better. Good call. Geesh, we're at 100 deaths already again. Oh yeah, right, I wanted to see if we can abuse that area up there. I mean, it's already a little hard to get up there. Yeah, I think if you manage to abuse that area up there, then you probably deserve it. That does not feel like a good hiding spot. Definitely not. Okay. No! Why did I move? I just had to stand still. Okay, the question is, how do we go to the next level when you defeat the bartender? Or what does the bartender do when you defeat it? Maybe it should drop with the head on the table or something like that. I'm also just seeing that the eye patch needs to stay open for a little longer when lasers are fired. When are my streams? They are every day at 16 CET from Monday to Thursday. So 4 times a week at 16 CET. Sometimes when I don't have time, I skip out a couple of streams. I'm not super duper strict about these live streams. The only thing I've been very consistent with is the upload on Friday. Okay, I guess last week not really, but last week was Islanders release week, so that obviously is an exception. Okay, I feel like there are a couple more things we could do, but I also feel like I'm done for today. I don't really feel like continuing, so if you have any more questions you would like me to ask, then I'll be reading chat for a couple more minutes. And oh no, my glass of water is empty. No. That is a clear sign that we need to stop. Make particle effects for bullets, for the drops, you mean particles. I'm always a little nervous about performance with stuff like that, because Game Maker is not super duper efficient at times. I feel like it runs really, really well on my PC. Don't get me wrong. I think I can run Will You Snail at something like 500 frames per second. But then, surprise, on a different machine, it's suddenly at 30, which is or sometimes it just doesn't run at all. So I'm very careful about performance, even if it works just fine on my PC. You can't assume that everybody has a good PC, unfortunately. And in theory, there should be ways to make a 2D game in a way that is efficient enough so it runs on every machine. I mean, most of those games can be run in a browser or on mobile or whatever, but a little hard to optimize games for that in Game Maker, I feel like. What if Islanders blows up and you get a lot of money with it? What will you do? I mean, even if we make 1 million from Islanders, you've got to remember I get maybe 8% of what we earn. We have to pay a lot of taxes, and then also the revenue gets split by 3 because we're 3 people. So whenever you buy a game, I get 8% of that. That's about the number. By the way, buy Islanders. Link should be in the description. It's a fun game. It's only $5. I can recommend it. Check it out. Why don't you make a graphic option? What do you mean? Why do you have a Klammer in the Haare? That's a nice mix between German and English. That is just, I'm setting new trends. I'm a trendsetter. What can I say? How do you get money while you're making a new game? So far, my parents have just paid my bills. I'm living at home with my dad, so there are not a lot of high bills to pay for, really. We're keeping the expenses low, and now, luckily, Islanders, I think, was successful enough to pay for the next project. So, for now, we're getting the money from Islanders, I guess. Thank you for making videos which inspire me. You're welcome. I'm very happy to hear that they inspire you. By the way, if I miss any of your questions, just feel free to ask it again. Sometimes I miss one or don't read all of them. It's completely fine to just post the same question again if I miss it. Different graphics like 60 FPS, I think that's what you meant. Did I mean that? I meant that different FPS options. You mean different graphic options? So you can turn particles on and off. Yeah, obviously that will be in the game as well. Just as a safety measurement in case the game doesn't run. That's that's one of the most scary things when making a game, is that maybe the game just doesn't run properly on a lot of machines, and there's really not a good way to test for that before launch, or at the very least no easy way. I guess you can just try the game on 100 different machines. But really, who does that except for big AAA companies, and even their games oftentimes feel like they definitely didn't do that. Do you use Unreal Engine 4? No. I've tried it for 1 or 2 days. I didn't really get into it all that much. I'm sure it's a good engine as well. Muffins are so hard to make. Really? I don't think so. Muffins are easy. Please make a video about how to publish a game on Google Play. I mean, once you've got the .apk file, which is generally relatively easy to create with Unity and with GameMaker as well, it's really not all that hard. You just create a Google account and sign up in the Google Developer Console, make an account there. I think you pay a small fee, something like $20, maybe it's $80. I'm not sure, but it's a one-time fee, and then you can upload whatever. It's really pretty straightforward. Uploading something to Google Play. What's obviously the tricky part about uploading something to Google Play is making sure people find your game, and that's on mobile. That's gotta be way harder than on Steam, and it's already quite tricky on Steam, I think. I asked this yesterday, but didn't hear an answer. If you were to work on Islanders alone instead of a team, how much longer would it have taken? I mean, we made the entire game within 5 months. If I made it alone, it would have taken me at least 3 times as long, but it would probably not even, it wouldn't reach the same quality. Like, doesn't matter how much time I put into it, it would have never looked the way it looks now. Because Friedemann is just the appeal magician. He knows how to make stuff look good. I don't. I mean, I'm getting better at it, but there's no way I could have made it look, grammar's hard, I'm sorry. It would not have looked that way if I had made the game. Are you gay? No. Don't have anything against gay people, but I'm not gay. How do you learn to make games? How did I learn to make games, or do you mean how do you learn to make games in general? I think there are a lot of different ways to learn how to make games. The most obvious way is just to make games and to make a lot of them. And if you keep doing it, then you'll get better at it. And I think everybody can make games. You can really just get started now. I have a Unity tutorial on my channel, for example. If you want to start making games, then just grab that tutorial and you can literally make your first video game today. It's not all that hard. And then all that you've got to do is keep doing it and keep doing it until you're good at it. That's pretty much it. I meant drawing muffins is hard. Really? I mean, drawing a good muffin is obviously hard. But drawing a good anything is hard. That's not the fault of the muffin, really. Hi, City Builder. Welcome. You're joining in just as I'm about to end the stream. How much time do you put daily into Islanders? I would say at the moment it's something like 5 hours, because obviously I've started doing these live streams again, and I'm also working on a video for Friday. So it's 4 to 5 hours usually at the moment. And obviously last week it was a lot more because launch week. I'm sure you are. I mean, if you're so sure of that, then I can be in your heart. Where did you learn to code, in university or self-learning? If self-learning, then please suggest best sources. Self-learning, I think it's probably a good idea to start either with somebody teaching you how it works or just with a couple of tutorials, but you should probably move away from tutorials as soon as possible and just skip over to the default help file of those engines, you know, the C# help file and the Unity help file. What's the correct word for that? Sorry, I don't know. Because usually that's the way you do it as a programmer anyway. There's no way to remember everything. Every once in a while you just have to look stuff up, and if you're just getting started with game development, then obviously you have to look stuff up more often. You just need to get the basics down first of how Unity works, like how does C# work, but once you've got those basics, I think the best way to learn is just make games and look the things up on the internet that you don't know, because that's what you'll have to do as a professional as well. You just have to look stuff up every once in a while, so better get used to it. You worked on a 2D game in Unreal. Really, is Unreal a good engine for making 2D games? Yeah, I guess you use the blueprints in Unreal, right? I've never tried those. Are they easy to use? You like my hair clip? Thanks. I'm beautiful. I'm a princess. What's my favorite programming language? I've not tried a lot of programming languages, so I think my answer on that probably doesn't really matter. My favorite programming language is C# at the moment. But the only two things I can compare it to is Python and GML, GameMaker language. Okay, I think we're out of questions. No, there are new ones coming in. I'll never be able to end the stream, will I? You put x minus x plus y minus y plus on the side of your screen so you can know which direction is which. That's a funny trick. Blueprints are really easy to use. Oh, didn't knew Unreal was any good for making 2D games. Cool. Yeah, I mean, nowadays you have so many options for game engines. It really doesn't matter all that much what you pick, probably. I mean, yes, it does matter, but there are a lot of good choices out there. You develop a Stickman game. Well, can you show me some gameplay? Have you uploaded some gameplay to your YouTube channel? I want to see it. Also, by the way, we have a Discord channel. If you want to join that and get feedback on your game, you can join that as well. And we can continue the discussion there. How many games did I make and how long have I been doing this? I mean, I've made a ton of small games. And I've also published quite a couple of games. But, I mean, if you just count the commercial releases, then I made one game, which is Islanders. But obviously I've been making games for more than 10 years at the very least, probably longer. Can't be bothered to run the math now. Yeah, something like 13, 14 years, I guess. You like how I say C? Yeah, I've got to work on that. If you catch me pronouncing the S wrong, then let me know, because otherwise I'll never get better at that. Z Is that the way you pronounce the S in English? Okay, not gonna read any more chat messages. I've gotta go. Thanks for hanging out with me today on stream. It was fun. Hope you enjoyed. And I will be back tomorrow for some more crazy. No, that is a soft S, right? Crazy. I have no idea. Anyway, have a nice day and see you tomorrow. Peace.